day, everyone. This is Polyphenols, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at lasers and DDO and on the tabletop. Please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Dracula.
Hey now, everybody. How's it going?
Hello there, Drac. How are things going over in Ravenloft?
Somebody unleashed the fire elementals again.
Oh, boy. We really should keep those fire elementals for getting trapped in Barovia.
I know, I'm telling you. If I found out who was responsible for this, you shall rue the day. Rue the day.
They shall rue the day. Well then, let's then talk about another day. How about something coming up on August 4th? I heard it's a sinister secret.
It is a secret, so I guess we'll move on because we can't talk about it. It's a secret. Yes, no. By now, everybody knows the sinister secrets of Saltmarsh. The mini expansion for DDO will be released this coming Wednesday, August the 4th. So look for a downtime announcement soon. I would guess probably Monday or Tuesday. It will be quote-unquote official with a downtime announcement. And we'll get into Saltmarsh on next Wednesday. They also, and all this information is being taken from the latest weekly Wednesday live stream with Cordovan. This is where this kind of broke, as it were. They announced next Wednesday for the release date. They also announced the bundles that are going to be out, what you can get with them, and we have pricing. So here we go. Standard edition will get you Saltmarsh content, Monster Manual 8, and Epic Destiny Access for $19.99.
All right, that's small expansion price.
Collector's Edition will get you the Sinister Secrets of the Saltmarsh, of course, Monster Manual 8, Epic Destiny Access. It's also going to get you access to the new Universal Tree Horizon Walker and the Smuggler's Cosmetics.
Okay, Horizon Walker?
Yes, that's the new tree. We've talked about it before. It's been a long time.
Probably, but it has disappeared from my mind. Try to think, how do you walk a horizon? Yes.
Very carefully. Very, very carefully. Okay, and then we have... Oh, and the price on the collectors is $59.99. And then we have our Ultimate Fan Bundle. The granddaddy of them all, as it were. Sinister Secrets of the Saltmarsh, of course. Monster Manual 8. Epic Destiny Access. The Horizon Walker Universal Tree. You get the Smuggler's Cosmetics. Again, which you get in the collectors if you buy that. But then you start getting into stuff that is specific to the collector's edition. You get the, Smuggler's Cosmetic comes in both the collectors and the ultimate. Also in the collectors and the ultimate is the Salty Smuggler's Mimic Cosmetic Pet.
A mimic?
It's a mimic. And it looks like a pirate. It's kind of cool, actually. There'll be pictures of this up on the screen as we're talking here in a second, if you're watching the YouTube. If you're listening to the audio version of this, I should get a site, post up on the site that will show you this if you're not watching YouTube. So you also get the Smuggler's Mount, which is a horse that comes in both editions. But in the collectors only, the Ultimate Fan Edition, you also get the Unlimited Spark of Logic access. We'll talk about that in a second. The Sentient Jewel Lizard Folk. You get the Lizard Folk Cosmetic, which includes a helm, armor, and the cloak. You get a Baby Crocodile Cosmetic Pet. You get the Lizard Folk Armored Mount. You get the Bullywug Rogue Hireling. This is the epic version. I forgot to mention in the collectors, you'll get the Bullywug Rogue Hireling, which is the heroic version. So with the ultimate, you get both the heroic and the epic, just like you normally have otherwise. And then you also get the instant teleport to Saltmarsh, which is like every other previous expansion. There's a teleport to jump you right there if you want. And then you also get the Dimensional Hireling Folder. That comes with the Ultimate Fan Bundle too. So $99.99 is the price on that.
All right.
$99.99.
I think that was the price of the Ultimate in... Was it War on Three Peaks the same price?
I think so. I was going to look over on the Lotro side to see. I think it was. I think the pricing is pretty much what their mini expansion was as well. And then the Dimensional Hirelink folder, a note about it, it's bound to account and it will be delivered to the first character you log into after purchasing the expansion. So keep that in mind. But it is bound to account. So that would lead me to believe you should be able to share that.
Right.
But keep
server.
in mind, it's server, correct. So I was gonna send Jerry an email to ask this for sure. If I understand right, it's only going to be delivered to you once on the first server you log into. I don't think you're going to get it on every server.
That's typical.
Yeah. So that's going to make me make a decision. I'll have to think about that. And then the Unlimited Spark of Logic access, that is a spark that is going to unlock one filigree slot. It is bound to account, and it can be acquired by speaking to an NPC. That means you get the spark any number of times. So if you want to use it 2 or 3 times, you can do that. If you buy this, you get unlimited use for it. So that's kind of nice. The spark is also available in-game. It's going to be a rare drop, and it's also an Epic Saga reward for Saltmarsh. So you can kind of keep that in mind as well. But you do get it if you buy the Ultimate Collector's Edition as well. So there you go. That's what we get in Saltmarsh, how much it's going to cost you, and when it's going to come out.
All right. And yeah, just verify War 3 Peaks was the same price.
Okay. I thought it seemed like that kind of was familiar to me, that pricing structure. So I thought it was probably War 3 Peaks that did that.
Yeah.
So, okay. Which, I mean, kind of makes sense that they're sticking to the same price structure. But yeah, there we go. Saltmarsh next Wednesday, August the 4th. As far as I am aware, I think you can order this now. I actually haven't tried to do that. But what's weird though, which then again, I don't know if you can order this yet, because usually, you know how when you go to DDO.com, you get that splash page for like expansions or whatever that they want you to order right away.
Right.
They don't have that up yet. So this might not actually be purchasable yet. You might have to wait until Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Sort of like what they did with, War 3 Peaks.
Okay. Yeah, so they're kind of sticking with the same playbook then. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I was going to ask you how that worked.
The only difference with War 3 Peaks is they didn't bother telling us the structure. They didn't tell us the pricing structure until the day of release.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. So there you go. And also they are running a VIP bonus as well. If you are VIP and you do order this, you will get 10% off.
Ooh.
So any bundle you pick, you're going to get 10% off as long as you have a current active VIP and you place your order with that current active VIP on your account, you'll get the 10% off. So that's kind of nice.
Okay. And then that's it, or anything else with Saltmarsh related?
That's basically it. It's level 3 and level 32. So 3 on Heroic, 32 on Epic.
Sounds like I'll be playing it on 3.
Yep, gonna say, we're gonna be going to it on 3. We were kind of talking that before the show. We were deciding if we were going to create new characters or what we were going to do, but sounds like maybe new characters might be in order.
Yeah,
so
I'll probably create a new character and run through Borderlands.
And I might actually force myself to get my Twitch working again so I can Twitch our gameplay of this maybe. I just got to figure out what broke. My Twitch broke somehow, and I'm not sure what's wrong. But
Twitch broke. Ooh.
We'll see about that, but we are definitely going to be playing through this and talking about it. Maybe Twitching it if I can get that fixed. Maybe I'll record it and put it up on the YouTube. Maybe. Who knows? A lot of maybes going on tonight.
Yeah, we'll see how sinister the haunted house is.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's then leave off game news and see what's coming in from the dungeon. Where Dungeons & Dragons Fizban's Treasury of Dragons is coming from WotC. What does Fizban want us to do now?
Yay. I guess, yay. Do you like dragons? Then this is your book for you if you like dragons. It's just what the title says. It's a treasury of dragons. It's going to give you new types of dragons and other bestiaries to fight. This is a hardcover book. It's going to be available in a standard and an alternate cover like they do with all their books. MSRP is $49.95. Look for this on October the 9th. It's introducing a gem dragon for the first time in 5th edition. So if you ever wanted a gem dragon, here you go.
Okay. Probably a whole group of gem dragons?
I would think so. It's also going to reveal the story of the First World and the role Bahamut and Tiamat played in the creation and destruction of the First World.
Mm-hmm.
I.e., WotC is retconning lore again.
Well, what else is new? Let's see. Because I was wondering, because if I remember correctly, is Fizbin the slightly dodgy wizard from Dragonlance?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, I do remember the name properly.
Yeah, nope, you do. And people got all excited when this was announced because it's like, oh my god, they're going to do Dragonlance next! No, they are not. People.
Well, Fiz's been doing a book on dragons, and
I know, but no, people. Dragonlance is not coming soon, nor probably ever.
Well,
but I can see why people got excited, though.
Well, we had Southern deals happen with Dragonlance before.
Well, okay. I mean, I guess, sure. But you're getting people's hopes up again.
Okay. I will avoid doing that.
This is also going to add new player character options like most new D&D books do, including unique draconic ancestries for the Dragonborn, dragon-themed subclasses for your monks and your rangers, and you're going to get new feats and spell options, of course, and it offers a dungeon master everything they need to craft adventures inspired by dragons across the worlds of D&D, with new dragon lair maps and details on 20 different kinds of dragons. Also presents a complete dragon bestiary and introduces a variety of new dragons and dragon-related creatures, including aspects of the dragon gods, dragon minions, and much, much more. Once again, look for this coming October the 19th from Wizards of the Coast.
Then let's leave off of Fizbin and head on to an Efreet, where there is going to be a premium statue of, it looks like a bigger, how big is it? 12 feet tall, does this thing say?
Yeah, no, 12 inches.
Oh, 12 inches. Okay, 12. Those two hash marks are so close together, it's hard to tell that there are two of them.
Inches. I was going to say 12 feet, that would be mighty darn big.
That's where are you going to fit such a thing? Okay, 12. Okay, so 1 foot tall then.
Yeah, it's still pretty big, but yeah. So this is coming from WizKids, of course, who has been doing all these premium statues and other various things as of late. This, of course, is one of the most iconic images that you think of when you think of classic D&D. This, of course, is the Efreet that is featured on the cover of the Dungeon Master's First Edition Guide.
Ooh, it's slightly different there, isn't it?
I'm going to get to that in a second. Spoiler alert for a Drac rant. Yay, Drac rants. Yes, this does depict a menacing Efreet staring down a wizard and a knight as he clutches, on the original cover, a thief in his hand. Once again, we did say the stand's 12 feet tall, comes with detailed premium paint on it, so it is fully painted. It's going to retail for $249.99, which is in line with all the other premium statues they have done. And as Pineleaf pointed out, the old school gamers among you might have noticed something is slightly amiss here. The statue does differ from the artwork that is featured on the cover of the Dungeon Master's First Edition Guide. That book shows a scantily cladded female in the Efreet's hand Instead of in the statue, there is a fully clothed knight in his hand.
Armored.
Yes. Or fully armored, yeah, I meant to say. Yes. Wizards of the Coast. I'm not sure if it was Wizards or if it was WizKids. I'm guessing it was Wizards that made them do this because of all the other stupid crap Wizards doing here lately. In the era of everybody getting woke, yes, they changed the freaking statue to not match the cover of the book, which that book come on. That and the Player's Handbook are probably two of the most iconic things you think of D&D. Like, what do you do? No, don't. Anyway, I promised myself I wouldn't rant too hard. So yeah, so there you go. If you can stand their little woke changes they made, have at this for $249.99. The other stuff, I've actually seen a couple like in game stores. I don't know anybody that's, bought one. And of course, I haven't bought any of the premium stuff they came out with. But from what I can tell from, I saw it was the Hand of Vecna that I saw in a game store. And I had to talk myself out of buying it. I almost bought that thing because it looked awesome. But anyway, then $249.99 was like, but anyway. That looked really good. So I'm sure this is going to be good quality. It's going to be made good. It's going to look good. I just really wish they wouldn't have changed the cover art for the statue. WizKids did release a statement about the change they made. They said they had just progressed the scene to show you what happens later on in the battle that took place.
Well,
so I'm like, okay, that's good PR speak for we just changed this because, heaven forbid we put the actual cover because somebody might get offended. I'm going to stop ranting now. I promised myself I wouldn't rant too much, but there you go.
Oh, yes, because otherwise that when you get to Gen Con, you might start splitting skulls.
Oh, maybe. And we will, actually, too. We will. Because Skull Splitter Dice is sponsoring our Gen Con coverage yet again. That's right, you fine folks over at Skull Splitter. So thank you so much to Luke and all the gang over at Skull Splitter. We love those guys. We love their dice. We've talked about them before. They've sponsored our Gen Con coverage for the past 3 years now, 4 years, something like that. I'd have to look back and look, but so look for them to be our sponsor. And what that basically means is every Gen Con video we do, they're going to get a little plug at the top of the video because they're awesome. That's why. And then also look for them to be a podcast sponsor again coming soon. So you'll hear about them the top and the bottom of the show like we did before as well. But just once again, huge thanks to Skull Splitter Dice. As I said, I bought a set of dice before they even are sponsor. I just want to be perfectly clear about that. So I have loved their dice even before they were actually a sponsor on the show. But then once they had become sponsors with our Gen Con coverage and they've sponsored the podcast several times outside of their Gen Con coverage, that the sponsorship deal they get. So I just wanted to say, I do love their dice, and I loved them before they were actually a sponsor. So I just wanted to be fully transparent about that I was a customer, and I still am a customer because I've done their last 2 Kickstarters for their dice. I love their dice that much. So there you go. So yeah, if you do need any type of dice accessories, anything of the sort, skullsplitterdice.com for all of your dice needs. Once again, thank you so much, Luke and all the gang over at Skull Splitter. They're all great people over there, and go buy some dice from Skull Splitter because they're awesome.
And thank you again for your help with Gen Con. Next, Talmir's Scan and Play Dungeon Crawler is now on Kickstarter. What does Scan and Play mean?
Scan and Play. This you actually might maybe be kind of interested in this. Maybe. I'm not sure. I think if I know you, this might be a game for you. Yes, this is what they are calling a Scan and Play narrative dungeon crawler. It's for 1 to 6 players. You're going to work together as you dungeon crawl through the various dungeons. You're going to reveal an interactive 60 to 90 minute story. You're going to explore dungeons. You're going to solve puzzles. You're going to talk to strange characters. And sometimes you're going to fight them. This is invoking all of the classic MUDs and the text adventures of years ago. So if you remember all the MUD and text adventures, you're going to be right at home here. There's going to be a free mobile app that comes with this, and this is going to allow you to interact with any game piece. You're going to scan a QR code, and the module dungeon map, is going to expand as you explore, and then combat is going to be fought with simple but strategic deck building. As you unlock new rooms, you're going to get new items. You will physically lay them out on the table, and anything that's on the table you can interact with. You can even scan doors to open the doors. The app's going to tell you what's there. It's going to lead you through everything. So you can think of this as like a DM-less dungeon crawl, because the app is going to act as the DM, and everything's going to be interactable. So you scan it and everything is going to come up in the app.
Now, what I find interesting is that one of the levels is a print and play version of this.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. There is a print and play actually available. So if you want to check that out, or that is one of the levels in the Kickstarter. The base level for
it's
the
$60, which
Kickstarter is $60, which is not horrible.
Yeah, well, when I hear something like this, I'm thinking, is this going to be one of those massive miniature games that's going to cost $200 for the base set? Apparently not.
And that's why I thought this might interest you, because this actually uses standees.
All right.
Which I know you're a big standee fan. That kind of I'm like, oh yeah, this is checking all the Pine Leafs boxes.
All right. Now, is this inspired by Detective City of Angels, or is this?
I kind of wondered about that, because it kind of has a similar feel to it. I don't know, but that is something I might ask them, because we're trying to work out an interview with the developers of this. This is from a fairly new company called Delve Brothers. They have done 2 other things on Kickstarters. I'm trying to look to see what they have created. I know they have done... For some reason, I can't get Kickstarter to work right, but so it's a fairly new company. It's 3 brothers that started this game company. So we're trying to work out an interview with them. It's just right now we're having kind of a schedule conflict. It's not totally my fault this time, believe it or not. Ooh. It's kind of like we're just, because they're all spread about the United States, so we're trying to work some together. But maybe look for an interview about this and about their company coming soon, hopefully. Probably not by the time the Kickstarter ends. I'd like to get it in before the Kickstarter ends, but there's 14 days to go. This is now fully funded. At the time I posted this article over on the site, it actually wasn't funded. They were pretty close. They were like 95% funded. Now they are actually fully funded. So you have 14 days to go as of this recording on July 29th is when we're recording this. So if you want to get in on this, you got 14 days to go. But yeah, like we said, there's a $10 print and play that you can do. Then there's the $60 base level, and then there is a $80 Legend, which gives you Kickstarter exclusive content as well. So not too bad price wise, but yeah. So this is just I kind of stumbled upon this by accident one day when I was on Kickstarter for something else. You know how they suggest projects for you. I seen this and I'm like, ooh, scan and play dungeon crawler. What's that? And then I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So I backed it.
Okay.
What are you gonna do? It looks interesting though. So, but then I did think you might actually enjoy it, maybe, because it I thought checked all your boxes about stuff, because it's not a big grandiose miniature game. It uses standees. It can be single player. Kind of has the app. Well, you're not a big app person,
right? Not a big app. That's where the hesitation point on there.
I had forgot you were not a huge app person, but
right.
So you might not like it.
All right. We'll see. I have 2 weeks to think on it.
There you go.
Then let's have a look at some award winners, because they have announced the winners of the Spiel des Jahres this year.
They have. We talked about this a while ago. We told you what the nominees were. That's been a long time ago since we did talk about this. But yes, the Spiel winners have been announced. Your Spiel des Jahres winner for Game of the Year, of course, is Micro Macro Crime City. Okay. I've never heard of the game. Never. It is published by Edition Spielwise. In the U.S., it's published by Pegasus Spiel. So there you go. And then your Kinderspiel is the new game from Z-Man. It is Paleo. Z-Man is actually publishing it in the U.S., I should say. It's by Hans and Gluck in Europe.
Now, what I've always wondered about this is, could they not have found another word other than Kinder for the strategic level, considering that another one is called Kinder, and
I don't know. You're the language
just sound so close together.
You're the language aficionado of the podcast. I mean, what would be a better word they could have used? Wow. Yeah, I always wondered that too, because it's confusing. It's like, okay, is it the Kinder or the Kinder? Kinder, yes. Kinder. You know, it's like, Speaking of that Kinderspiel, that went to Dragon Amino. That is by Pegasus Spiel, going to be published in America by Blue Orange Games.
All right. So how many variants of King Domino are we going to have eventually?
As many as they want to.
Yes.
Because they keep selling where. Okay, I mean, King Domino was a fun game.
Yeah.
And then it's like, because you know what happens when a game is fun, when it's popular, we need to make more.
You need to make...
And more.
And more. And more. And more.
I mean, Munchkin, I'm looking at you.
Okay, Munchkin is probably more over the top than most.
Well, okay. So there you go. Congratulations to all the winners. Look for those to be selling like hotcakes, because pretty much you win the spiel and you sell millions of copies because everybody wants your game.
Well, let's see. I have to see. I have heard a lot of people playing Paleo, so maybe
Paleo's getting pretty good reviews. I'm pretty sure there's a solo variant for it. I don't think it's...
It's a cooperative adventure game, which means that...
Yeah, you should be able to solo it. Yep.
And I think I've seen some people play Paleo on the solo cons.
Okay, all right.
So I really should look.
Yeah, and it's getting really good reviews from the reviews I've seen of it. So I can't remember off the top of my head if Z-Man is going to be a Gen Con. If they are, I will definitely talk to them about this game. But I don't remember if Z-Man was one of the companies that is or is not going to be there. It's too confusing to remember who's in and who's out at this point.
Well, yeah, that's always the trouble with that one. Let's then leave off the spiel and head on into our week in gaming.
I played some tabletop. Yeah, that's about all I did. I didn't do anything else, but I did play tabletop. Started out with, okay, I'm going to call my friend out yet again. I called him out last week because he did not share the Gen Con beer, if you remember the show last week. I'm going to call him out again. He beer blocked me yet again.
What?
He listened to the show and he's like, I swear I brought that to one of our gaming get-togethers. And I'm like, no, you did not. And he's like, well, I think I did, but maybe I forgot that I brought it or something. So he's like, I'll bring you a can because I still have some of it left. I'll bring you a can the next time I come over. So him and his son came over to play some games a week ago.
All right.
He sat down at my table and he's like, I forgot to bring the beer.
What?
Beer blocked yet again. So, you know who you are. You're out there listening. It's twice in a row I've had to call you out on these here airwaves. What are you going to do about it, sir? What are you going to do? We did play Last Night on Earth, though. Actually figured out the rules, so I know how to play it now, so I can actually play it solo now as well, too. Because the one rule I was confused about, if you remember the show last week, I tried to play it solo and I got totally confused. Figured it out. I figured it out what I was doing wrong. So we went through a whole scenario of that. That's a really, really fun zombie. Of course, it's a zombie game. plays just about like every other zombie game you can think of. So that was super, super fun. So we played that. And then I also went over to my niece's house, and my niece and her husband, and I played a bunch of games. We started out the night by playing Scooby-Doo Betrayal at Mystery Mansion. Of course, that, is the Betrayal at House on Hill, Scooby-Doo style. We reviewed it. We talked about it on the show before. We actually played that twice. I was the quote-unquote betrayer the first time, and then my niece's husband was the betrayer the second time. So pretty fun game. Then we played Wakening Lair, The Dark Forest. Wakening Lair might sound familiar, as I've talked about Wakening Lair on the show before. This is from Rather Dashing Games. It's a dungeon crawler. You lay cards out, and then you go through the dungeon by opening the different doors, and then at some point the big bad of the dungeon comes out, and I talked about how hard it was. This is a standalone expansion, but it can be mixed in with the original Wakening Lair as well if you want. We just played this version just itself. This one, instead of taking place in a dungeon, you're in a forest, ergo the Dark Forest. So it's pretty much the same game. They tweaked a couple rules. It's still really, really hard. We did manage to win just at the very end. We eked out a victory, but barely. But yeah, this is super, super hard. And this actually was a successful Kickstarter for Rather Dashing Games. I do believe this is available in retail, or going to be available in retail soon if it is not. We will be talking to Rather Dashing Games at Gen Con. Always enjoy seeing Mike Ritchie. He is the designer and basically head guy over at Rather Dashing Games. Great guy. Love talking to him. We've done interviews with them every Gen Con since we've covered Gen Con. Hopefully Grant will be there as well. He does some of the art. Grant Wilson's a great guy too, but definitely. So look for an interview coming soon. I might review this too, just because we did review the original Waking Lair, so maybe I'll just review this as well. But this actually was like I said, a successful Kickstarter that I did kickstart. Because I love Wakening Lair, even though it's hard. But yes, this is super hard as well. Then we played Tesla Science Race. This is yet another successful Kickstarter that I actually forgot I backed. And then, like, all of a sudden, I have this
Tesla,
box.
of course you...
I know, exactly. It's like, how can I forget I backed a Tesla game? But this, like, box showed up on one day, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And then I looked, and I'm like, Oh yeah, this was a Kickstarter. Yeah, so this, of course, is inspired by Nikola Tesla. Tesla Science Race is an educational tabletop board game. You kind of learn about Tesla's inventions and his life journey as you're rolling the dice and playing through the game. It's a roll and move. Basically, you roll the dice and then you move, however many spaces on the board, and then each space on the board has different things that happen. You're trying to collect these cards that are his inventions, and each card on the front has one of Tesla's inventions. So you're learning about all the different inventions that Tesla made in his lifetime. And then you place them on your game board, your player board, I should say. And then you flip them over and it forms a puzzle, and you fill out the puzzle, and once you have that puzzle completely filled out by getting all these invention cards, it actually forms his Tesla coil, which of course is his most famous invention. So you fill out the puzzle on your player board with these cards to make the Tesla coil, and then at various points through the game, by landing on things, you can like steal each other's cards. You can make people get rid of all their cards. There's different things you can do. So it's kind of got to take that aspect to it too. It's, I'm just going to be honest, it's not a very in-depth game. I mean, it's really simple.
Roll and move.
Roll and move. It's your basic roll and move. I mean, you could play it with any age group. Like, kids could understand it. You might have to tweak if you're playing with real little kids, there's a couple of the, quote unquote challenges that you do that you might have to tweak a little bit because some of them would be kind of difficult for little kids. But yeah, so it's kind of got to take that element to it a little bit. It's roll and move. It was really fun. I really like the aspect that you're making the Tesla coil out of a puzzle, and it's not like it's a puzzle. It is, but it isn't. You do the puzzle by getting the invention cards, and then you place the adventure card or the invention cards, I should say, upside down with the puzzle piece on the back on the specific spot on the player board, so it tells you exactly where to place it, but then that forms the puzzle as you're getting the cards and building them in. So it's not like you actually have to quote unquote solve the puzzle. You're just getting the cards, you're laying them face down, and then you're making the Tesla coil out of that puzzle, if that makes sense. It's kind of a weird roundabout way to describe it, but it's, like I said, it's a decent roll and move, kind of take that. It's definitely geared towards kids. You can kind of understand that. I will kind of knock them for one thing, but I can't knock them too bad for it. This company is out of Bulgaria, I think, is the company that made this, and that really shows because some of the cards you can tell English not their first language.
Well, yeah.
There's a lot of typos and there's a lot of ways they word things that are really, really weird. And then you can play this with a smart device, which we started out playing it that way and then we stopped because it's more annoying than anything to do it with a smart device. But at certain points, these cards that you draw that, tell you, what happens. You either have to move forward, move backwards, or you can challenge another player for take that aspect of it. Some of those cards might have a QR code on them. Well, you scan those cards and you get this little like 5-10 second animation video. And then it's just the same cards that are in the deck, just worded differently. So we were like, this is pointless and it takes too long for this to pull up the video. And like, what's the point of this? So at least they give you the option that you can play with or without it. It's really easy to play without it. If you don't want to use that aspect of it, you just take all the QR codes out and then you just don't have them and then everything is on the card. But I mean, the animation videos were kind of cool, but then they started repeating after a while. And then we're like, okay, yeah, this is kind of, I think, was an afterthought because I think they see a lot of these other games doing the, it's that Tailmore that we just talked about, that Kickstarter that has QR codes you scan. I can't think of any other game. I can't think of the game off the top of my head now. The detective game that I have.
City of Angels, yeah.
Yeah, that one. And then there's Chronicles of Crime. That's it.
Oh, Chronicles of Crime, yeah.
It has QR codes that you scan. So yeah, that's like that's just like the big thing right now in the industry. So I think they kind of added that on because it doesn't look like it was intended to be there as an afterthought.
It doesn't sound like something that really fits it because I can understand it in these detective games because the idea there is that they could add some sort of mystery to it or something like that.
Well, see, and that's what I was kind of hoping this would do, that you would get, at least something, or you would get like a little insight into Tesla, or you would get like stories about Tesla or something. But no, you just got like a 10-second animation video and then like words, like they basically took a picture of one of the cards, but they changed the words of the card. So I'm like, really? That's okay. I guess I'm not selling this game very much, am I? I mean, it's okay. I enjoyed it because it was Tesla. It was fun. We had fun with it. We had fun with the whole take that aspect of it. So for what it is, it's fun. So that is what I did.
And then I'll head into my week in gaming, and I will begin with ESO, where my warden has reached level 15. So that character is coming along reasonably well, where I'm finally learning how to play the warden class in ESO, which has given me a great deal of trouble with another character I have that's a warden, and I keep on saying, what's this do? What's this do? What's this do? What's this do?
What's this button?
Yeah. And of course, learning how to use a melee weapon, which is another one that is occasionally was a strange thing. And I'm doing because occasionally, if I am forgetting when I first log onto the character that I'm not playing my Templar, and I'm saying, "Oh, why aren't I able to attack that? Oh, that's right. I'm carrying an axe or a sword or something like that instead of a staff." Though when I reached level 15, I did make my alt weapon a bow. So if I want to attack from a distance, I'm now able to do that using that. And then over in tabletop, first off in Commands and Colors Ancients, I finally got around to finishing up all the scenarios in the base set. So I've been slowly going through there, alternating other games all throughout but I finally finished every single one of the scenarios in the base set at least once. Then I broke open Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. Now I had finished the campaign before, but I decided to start a new campaign there, this time using the other two characters, the Red Guard and the Voidwalker, who I did not play the first time I was playing the campaign. So I am getting to understand what these characters like. They were very, very differently from the other two characters, but I guess that's Gloomhaven, where they have all these characters that work so differently from one another.
Yep.
Then I played some Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, where I decided to play the official solo rules, which apparently they were released, I think, sometime in March or April of last year at the beginning of the pandemic, so that you could play solo since people couldn't get together as much. But I never got around to playing it. Whenever I played Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, even since then, I was playing it with two characters back and forth.
Okay.
But I decided, let's see what the solo rules are like. So I went there and I decided to play the most unlikely of all the heroes from Harry Potter's Hogwarts Battle, and that is Neville Longbottom. So I played Neville, went through there, and at the beginning I felt like I was completely useless. And then as things went on, I got powerful enough so that I was able to, despite the fact falling back pretty hard at the early stages of the game, I was able to fight back and win on there. Now, this was playing it at year 5, which is my usual year for playing. I am going to try to experiment at some point, seeing how I could do at year 6, because I really didn't like playing year 6 with two characters, because that's point where it reached my maximum level of tolerance of being able to keep track of everything, because I was trying to keep track of 2 players plus everything else that's going in there, and the enemies start to get up to ridiculous levels, and I just can't play year 6 with 2 characters. So I'm hoping to have a chance to try year 6 with one character, see how the official solo rules work at year 6, and see if I like it there or if I wind up going back to year 5. Then I played a new game that just came out on Steam, though it was already in box form, and that is Railroad Ink Challenge. Now, I had never played Railroad Ink, and that's because Railroad Ink uses dry erase markers, and I really don't get along with dry erase markers. I try to avoid them or anything like that. So having a Steam version allowed me to finally get around to playing this game, and it seemed like it's a roll and write and it involves railroads. Perfect for me. So you can see.
I was going to ask. I thought this was the roll and write, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could just imagine then how much of a pain I find dry erase if I wound up skipping this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Because of that, but they're on Steam now, so I played it on Steam 18 times.
Oh, okay. I guess you would enjoy it.
So I had a lot of fun with Railroad Ink Challenge then. Then over on the regular side, then I decided, okay, let's order the game anyway, the physical version, because they don't have the expansions yet on Steam. So I did order a copy of the game, and I did find that, yes, dry erase is as much of a pain as I thought it would be. But I did notice that they did have a link to a location where you could download printable forms. I think they intended it for a different purpose, but I have a feeling the next time I play the physical version, I'm just going to print out a copy of the sheet and play it that way, so that I won't have to worry about the.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you, because most roll and writes you can print stuff out for. So.
Yeah, so I was able to find something on there and be able to do that, and I'll try. So I was able to try out the 2 expansions. They had the edition I had has a forest expansion, which is a fairly easy one, and then there's a Trails expansion, which has a little bit more challenge too, which when I tried that one, I didn't do quite as well. So I have to work on that one sometime. But for now, I'm having a lot of fun with the Steam version. Now let's head on into Minecraft. Now, first off, I logged into a world that was created by a certain group of damsels.
Ooh, spoiler alert. Yeah.
Yes. So
coming soon, there'll be a Minecraft situation between us and the damsels. Soon, trademark.
Yes, I tried going around and looking there, so I was trying to survey the land. Was there a good place in which to settle down or anything like that? I haven't chosen anything like that. And part of the reason is because I've been playing a lot on the world where the Locho Players group is, where we have a world. I've been learning to build several types of farms. So I built a cactus farm and a pumpkin farm over this last week. When I say a farm, I'm not talking about where you just plant crops and later harvest them, but where they automatically get harvested when they grow. So I'm learning how to make better farms for cactus and pumpkins. And also, I've been trying out this month's Mage Rage, and I thought last month's Mage Rage was annoying. And I can only imagine that the creators decided what would make Pine Leaf even more annoyed. That's what this month's Mage Rage felt like.
Is there a point where you can make Pine Leaf annoyed? That's my question.
Well, is there a point where you can make him annoyed? Well,
exactly.
This month's Mage Rage is really, especially week 4. Week 4, some of the things, is this month's theme is a magic realm, and you're supposed to occasionally go to this magic realm, and that's where you could help you to find some of the items in there. I hate that magic realm. I detest that magic realm. I try to avoid that magic realm like the plague. This week, you had to go to the magic realm because some of the items you had to find were things like endstone, and there's only one other place where you could find endstone, and that's in the end. And I think it's pretty highly unlikely that I'm going to get to the end and kill the dragon.
Okay.
So that entire plan would be out on that. So I had to go into the magic realm and eventually got those items. But there's one more item still in week 4 that I haven't found. I have a feeling that this is going to have a 5-hour long Mage Rage. Mage Rage should be an hour long, not 5 hours. But the last item I have to find is a really super rare item. And I found one piece of it inside of the magic realm, but I just got so sick of the magic realm that I can't look for any others. So now I decided, let's go to a safer and quieter place in which to get it, the Nether. If you know anything about me, you know I'm not exactly fond of the Nether either.
I do remember you talking about this.
Yeah.
This is like all interesting for me to hear because I'm going to play Minecraft for the first time, and I'm learning all this stuff from you because you've been talking about Minecraft for so long, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm actually going to play this game. So
okay,
we'll see
when
how this goes.
are we scheduling that?
Yeah, I don't know. We're still working on it.
Okay, so I didn't miss something. Okay,
not yet.
All right, then. And that is my week in gaming. We currently have 16 supporters on Patreon, and if you would like to help support DDO players, you can go to the donations page. We can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. Your money would be used for our podcast hosting, website hosting, and to pay for our live shows. And, of course, we also seem to be getting a donation for Gen Con coverage. Skull Splitter or something like that?
Something like that.
Something like that. If you would like to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can also Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlliance, DDO Players @DDO Players, Dracula @Dracula_72, and Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. You guys join us for our shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.